guys, it's me here. So today we're gonna do another review on another kaiju. However, because I did a previous video on this guy here, we're gonna do another review of another choju from the Ultraman Ace series. Except this is the first enemy of it, called Velokron, from the Ultraman Ace series. And he is known now this monster appeared in episode 1. He's the very first choju that Ultraman Ace appeared that Ultraman Ace fought with. And he did not appear for a while. Actually, he did. Not like we'll actually get to the history later, but first we just it came from the package here. So this is like the so it comes with a tag, as you can see. It's like the other one that I showed. In fact, they even showed toys of it. You can see it's Ultraman Ace, and this is the back of it. It's pretty cool. This is what he originally looked like. In fact, this particular version is based on the Showa version. It's not based on the newer one. The newer one looks more taller, but I kind of think this looks better because it's, I mean, in a strange way, I think the older versions of the monsters itself are cooler, but oh well. And I forgot to show this, but this can open up. It doesn't have, wait, does this have that red thing? No, it doesn't. I noticed something. It's different. That's very strange, but interesting. The back of it, for some reason, has, when I translated it, it says some weird warning things. It says it's also a Subaru product. I also forgot to say that this is also a knockoff, like the Black King, Astromons, and Doragori, although this is actually a very popular knockoff because he's based on the Spark Doll version. And even though he's based on the Spark Doll, he's actually much larger than the Spark Doll version. Spark Doll version was like about this height, like at his arms, so it wasn't very great. But oh well. So he appeared in so basically, yeah, he has like, it's made from, I don't know the company name, although I just call it AliExpress velokron because he's from AliExpress. In fact, we're actually going to cut the tag off, although cutting the tag off this guy is very tricky because he has this, like, look at this design. It's like a coral. In fact, he's actually based on a coral. He was a mix between a coral and a space monster, although it was not mentioned as much, so it's in a way that not too many people know about it. I'm gonna have to push that in. I'll be back. Okay, so I was able to press the thing inside, so it's now, like, it's no longer, like, pointy or whatever, so that's good. But yeah, and he's actually a little bit smaller than the other ones I did a review on, but he's not as bad though, so that's what matters most. But anyway, we're gonna take a look at the details and stuff, so let's take a look at the details first, even though it's a knockoff. The details on it are not that bad, although I don't remember too much of him. Like the back here, yeah, the back is supposed to be, wait, is it? I have a feeling the back was supposed to be like a dark color, but there are parts like the head, for an example, and like the arms and like this tail. Yeah, he has a tail, but it's a very short tail, or whatever that is, with the coral and stuff. It didn't exactly say in the show, but all we know is that on the Wikipedia it said he was a mix between a coral and a space monster. I think his name was I think his subtitle name was called the Super Missile Beast or something. In fact, this monster is also known to shoot missiles all over the place, but we're gonna explain that later. But yeah, his details are quite nice, and I like the paint job. It's kind of like a weird, it's kind of a strange paint though, but it's not ugly. I like how they added like the holes on some of the, what are those, yeah, the coral looking things, which is where the missiles shoot out and stuff, and they also added some on the head. Even the nostrils, if you look at it, have like holes. That's where it shoots the missiles out too. His mouth is not painted, unfortunately. That's kind of sad, but at least it does have some teeth detail, although you can't see too much. So it just looks like he has a mouth that's just all like one color. In fact, his design, it's like yeah, it looks correct, the color. It's like a charcoalish black color or something. He's kind of like the thing I don't always like about the Chojus, and that's the only thing I don't like about Velokron, but I don't mind because I mean he's not as terrible as other terrible monsters that I've seen. Is that his design almost has this gross looking blister thing. It's like at first he looks like he's made out of rocks or pebbles, but it's like kind of gross looking. I don't know. It's just like, especially the tail here, like what even is that type of texture? It's like a bumpy, blistery looking thing. I don't know. But I mean, that was the purpose with the Ace Chojus or the Ace Kaijus. They weren't supposed to look like regular dinosaurs. He does sort of look like a dinosaur, not too much, but you could have get the concept. It's like he was based on some regular creature that just added, like it had like these additional parts and stuff. Oh well. I don't know if his feet are supposed to be painted, but they have these nails here. Some of these Choju feet I noticed remind me of Yapul's feet. Yapul's feet had like these like Yapul is the master who makes the Chojus. He's the person. Okay, Yapul is a type of villain of the TV series that makes these types of monsters just to take over the planet and stuff. Some of his Chojus, for some reason, have similarities with Yapul himself. Like the feet here look like they're from Yapul. I'm starting to also think they probably cut off the feet of those and made it into a Yapul suit. Not like the body, but like just the feet. Or whatever. He does have details here that it's like red, and I don't know why, but he has... I'm just gonna say he has a six-pack. I don't know. I don't know why. Very strange. I never seen a monster that has that. But oh well. I like how the fingernails are painted and they have holes on them which also shoot out the missiles, and he even uses it anyways. His eyes are a nice red color, although they should be more red, but I think it would look too evil looking if it was red. I don't always like creatures with red eyes or monsters. It kind of creeps me out a little bit. But overall, so the details on him look good. And even though the real one would feature a scanner spark doll hexagon thing, this one doesn't. It's just all flat with the Subaraya like production credit names or whatever, like the information. But so far it's just plain and Jerry. Okay, just kidding. Yeah, the details on it are good. He's just only missing the teeth details or the mouth, but everything else so far is okay. Now we're gonna get on to articulations, since we did the details. His details were okay. He only has 3, unfortunately, since he's based on the Spark Doll one, but in a larger scale. His arms can only move. They can move 360 degrees, but you actually have to be very careful because of the coral things. They kind of collide in with each other, and it's not a perfect shape either. It kind of feels like at a point, if you did it a lot, you probably would scrape the paint off, so just be very careful. But his arms can move and stuff, so that you can have him in this pose down here, or you could just, I don't know, you could even do the similar Doragori thing to where they shoot missiles and stuff out of the hands. Tail would be, yeah, the tail is so small you wouldn't have an articulating point. What is a strange articulating point, and it still has it, although I just don't know why it's necessary, but it's better than nothing, is the torso. The torso can rotate 360 degrees. Stiffly, but smoothly enough, so it should still work. So, I mean, but it's like with the Doragori, you see how it's like, it doesn't look right when you turn it like this? Maybe they just do it because they just want the monster to, like, do this, like, shake around, but you pretty much just best you leave it there and stuff. It's like best you have it like this for the whole time, because it just looks weird. No head articulation. That's okay. I think it would look awkward if it did. And it's too, his head is like an odd shape, so it wouldn't, you know, it's not possible. But yeah, so the articulations are okay, although I wish they were a little bit better, but it's better than nothing. Tag is very nice. I'm gonna put it away. I don't want to throw them out. Oh, and I forgot actually, did I show you this? You can pause this also if you want. It just says, I think, the information about him. He's 55 meters and 44,000 tons. Wow. Okay. Anyway, yeah, so now we got that covered. Now we're going to do the size comparison. Now, he's 55 meters, so he's more of like that regular, he's not like the normal Choju size where they're always big and stuff. Let's first compare him with a Choju that he was actually partners with and was also in the same era of the Ultraman A series, Doragori. Now, Doragori, you're thinking at first he should be the same size. No, this is actually correct, because Doragori is 67 meters and he is 55. In fact, he's quite short or quite small. Well, I wouldn't consider it short either, but it's like he's an average size. But it doesn't matter how big or how small it is. I think this is correct though, because he's supposed to be, in fact, even though Velokron is a powerful monster, he's like, the design of him is not as like he can't do too much with his design, but he can, you know, like he has the powers like the fire and the missile things, which we'll explain later. But the scale with Doragori is very good. In fact, you can even recreate the team, because they're, yes, they did have appearances together. Actually, two of them in Ultra Galaxy Neo or other ones. There was actually one time to where they appeared together, but with Vakishim and Yapul. Although there was one time where it was only these two and they were fighting Gamora and Elekane. And speaking about Gamora, why don't we do a comparison to him as well, if they are good scale? Well, here's the problem. It's okay. The size is okay. Unless if you care more about, like, because it's a human inside of a suit or whatever. In real life, I think Velokron would be taller than Gamora, but at least the coral is making him look taller, so I guess this is okay. However, Gamora is 40 meters, so Gamora should be smaller, but it doesn't look as bad. In fact, I don't have Elekane, but if I did, I would have the complete set to where Doragori and Velokron versus Gamora and Elekane. That would be pretty cool, but it's only Gamora. He's all left alone. How sad. Very, very, very sad. But don't worry, because we got a hero that can defeat them. Defeat him and defeat Velokron. Psh. Okay, I'm just kidding. What am I doing? Anyways, Velokron, let's see. I don't have Ultraman Ace, but I have an Ultraman that was at that similar 70s era. In fact, he was actually before Ultraman Ace, Ultraman Jack from Return of Ultraman. Unfortunately, the scale is not right. Unless, wait. Where's the ruler? I had a ruler. I don't know what happened to it. Let's see the ruler. Velokron is slightly taller than Ultraman Jack because of the coral. However, the main like body in total, he should actually be taller like this or something, not the other way around. So the scaling is for Ultraman half-fast, although the worst thing is that sometimes Ultramans are not always the same size, even if they're the same Spark Doll line. So, I mean, like for an example, the regular Ultraman does not work well because he's slightly taller than Ultraman Jack, and I don't know why, even though they look the similar design. But, yeah. For Ultraman Jack, he looks good with it, or okay with it, although I think he should be a little bit bigger, but what can you do? It's the biggest and most realistic you can get. If you want a bigger one, you get the older Bandai one. Not the 80s one, but the one that I think is from Ultraman Mebius. What about a Choju that is, let's see about this one, Brocken. I don't know about this scale. I believe Brocken should be taller because he's 63, so the scaling of Brocken is not as great, although since I just care more about the Chojus, he does not look bad with them either. In fact, they were also in the same series. I also have another monster that appeared in the same show with Doragori and Velokron. In fact, they can go in the same team together. I just need Yapul, but I don't want Yapul. Although I have a paper version, but whatever. Vakasham from the same A series. In fact, he appeared one episode. No, not one episode. He appeared 2 episodes away from Velokron. He appeared in episode 3. Now, the scaling of it is actually good, because Vakasham is 65 meters. Is he? I forget the scale, actually. Yeah, he's 65 meters, same height as Black King. So this is perfect scale also, which is good. In fact, so far he goes very good with these other Chojus. In fact, well, I pretty much have the set. All I just need is maybe the other heroes, but mostly for the clan, I would need Yapul or Ace Killer. Not Ace Killer, though. Ace Killer was for Baraba, but we're not going to discuss that. So the scale with these monsters are fantastic. In fact, they go pretty good, and I pretty much completed the set. Have Doragori, Velokron, and Vakasham. All we just need is Yapul, but I don't really want Yapul, so that's the problem. He's not my favorite enemy. In fact, he's like, I think, some type of a demon, and I'm not into demons. So, yeah. What about King Crab, another Choju? This is probably the worst one ever because he's way, way, way taller. He's like about this height. Not this small. Yeah, King Crab scale is not very good. But there's nothing I can do about it. So, yeah, that's the sad part. Whatever. Nothing I can do. It's okay. So, yeah. Let's take out, who should we take? We're gonna choose Baraba, who's another Choju. In fact, I've been noticing that, thankfully, with Baraba, he was able to appear in the newer Ultraman series. Although he appeared in, it was only himself, unfortunately, but, he was in because the only remaining Chojus that have been appearing on the recent ones are Arabuta, Doragori, Vakasham, Velokron, Baraba, and, Lunatics. There might have been... Nope, that's all the ones I remember, actually. Or all the other ones. But yeah. Now, Baraba's is not correct. Baraba should be taller than him because he's 70 something meters, so the scale of him is not correct. What about Hanzagirin? Hanzagirin looks okay. I think he should be the same size, but they look okay. Hanzagirin is not that big of a monster, so scale works good. What about Neronga? Yeah, Neronga is perfect. He went very well with that. What about Tyrant from the same toy series, or from AliExpress, but this is actually the knockoff version of the 6-inch one, whatever that one was. The scale is good. He is 62 meters and he is 55, so this is correct scale and looks very good with, like, let's say antagonist monsters and stuff, whatever. How about Mechagodzilla? In fact, this Mechagodzilla is very dangerous too. Can also shoot missiles like velokron, but can shoot a very potent laser from his mouth. Let's see the size. This is actually correct, since this is the 100 series Godzilla, or the 100 scale one, because nowadays the newer Godzilla monsters are usually about 100 meters. They're no longer like the 60, 71, whatever. Nowadays they are like 100 meters tall, so this is correct. If you want, you could make them team up, or maybe, I don't know. In fact, this Mechagodzilla is much powerful than the original Mechagodzilla. It's more dangerous and actually more twistedly scary. I guess that's how they like to make scary monsters. In fact, when new things happen, it gets more scarier. How about Red King? Red King is 40 meters. Let me see. It looks okay. He should be bigger though, but since the coral is making him look taller and stuff, it doesn't look as bad. There we go. What about Sedora? Who did not appear in the series, although they actually had a book that had one of them, which I'll explain, but I'm not going to show it because I don't have it, and I'm not going to show it on the internet either. But anyway, yeah. Scale with him, I don't remember the size of Sedora, but it looks okay if he's 60, not 60, if he's 50 meters or something, so it's okay. Not terrible. What about Mr. Stay Puft? I have a feeling this is not going to look pretty. Yeah, unfortunately he's too small for Stay Puft. However, if Stay Puft was like based on 100 meters, not 100 feet, it doesn't look as bad. But whether it was not correct or not proper to scale, sizing, whatever, he would get defeated by Velokron. Even Velokron is, because Velokron has like fire and lasers that can, like, not lasers, missiles that can easily destroy him, so he wouldn't be able to survive. Although I still like to scale with Stay Puft because he's kind of like he's an interesting monster, and I think he goes well with, he doesn't get much attention to kaijus and stuff. What about King Ghidorah? In fact, there was one time where King Ghidorah has a similar growl as him. However, his roar was actually from Rodan, but a inverted one, or a strange version of it, I don't know. Scale of it is actually good because King Ghidorah is very large, so the scale of it looks nice. What about the Duraco? Duraco is too big. He's 40 meters, not 60, so it's not correct. How about King Caesar? I don't know about King Caesar. I don't remember the size. Did I show this one? A Kraken? Yeah, I did. I showed a Kraken. What about the regular Godzilla? Well, since this Godzilla is 100 meters, this is actually a very good scale. So, it's a big win. Same for King Kong. Looks fine to me. Oh, there's two more I forgot actually to show. What about Astromons, who is also from the same series, and they also have the similar coloring, I notice. Yup, it's correct too. Astromons is 60 and he is 55, so yay! That's good. Very correct. What about Black King? Did I show Black King? I don't know if I did. Yeah, the scale is fantastic. Black King is 65 meters, so this is perfect. Love it a lot. How about an oil refinery? Or some, I don't know, industrial place, whatever. Yeah, he looks very good with that too. Those weird buildings are supposed to be like towers, but they look more like buildings. Whatever. How about a forklift? Or some sort of a tractor truck or something. Mostly a forklift, actually. He doesn't look as bad. However, he should be bigger than that tractor thing. Or, not tractor, forklift. It's a load lifter, not a forklift or a tractor. It's a load lifter. It's similar to a forklift, but it's larger. Yeah. So the scale of it is good. What about a Yeti? Maybe this could be Woo. The scale is, I guess, okay. I don't really care too much about this Yeti, but I just thought to show it since he reminds me of Woo from Ultraman. So yeah, now we're gonna take a look. Not take a look. We're gonna now show the history of this guy. In fact, it's very long, the video, so I'm gonna have to explain it fast. Alright, so scaling was very good. Now let's get on to... Okay, so I'm gonna explain it right now. Velokron appeared in the first episode of Ultraman Ace in episode 1. And you obviously saw what he looked like in the tag. He's like, he looks like this. Now, it did not show it, unfortunately, but it's been told that he was a mix between a coral and a space monster. But what we mean about the, so, he was basically sent out in a generic, like, here's the thing. Yapul was this evil villain that was in the Ultraman A series, and he still appears, apparently, who made these types of creatures that are called Chojus. Chojus are monsters that are stronger than regular monsters. And here's an example of them. Although I want to show this fast because I don't want to, you know, take hours for this or whatever. These are the types of, now, these ones that I'm showing are like the infamous one, except for that gold one. That gold one is not as infamous, but he kind of is a little bit. But I'm gonna just show you an example. These are the Chojus. The Chojus were these monsters that are not like your ordinary monsters. In fact, they are much powerful, and they are able to kill, they even killed normal monsters too. Like, there was one time to where Doragori tore, Marucci into pieces. However, even though they did show that they can kill regular monsters, they were not able to kill this type of monster, which is called the super ability monsters, because I found out later that Ultraman Taro had this other type of series of monsters that are similar to the Chojus, but more stronger. And it's called the super ability monsters, or super ability, I don't know, that's just what it's called. Some people used to call it super Chojus, but they're actually called the super ability monsters. The most famous one would actually be Mukadendar, which is based on a centipede. There was one that was a walrus and other creatures, but we're not going to explain that. Astromons is an example of the super ability monsters. But these here are, however, these monsters are the Chojus. I only have, like, 7 of them right now. I have to get one more, and I think that's Erebuda. But we're not going to discuss that. We're going to explain those later. Maybe in a future video. Whatever. What was I saying earlier? That, Alright, so... he was sent out to destroy Earth by Yapul. Yapul makes those scary monsters, those Chojus, just to attack Earth and stuff and take over the planet. It's kind of a generic type of plot, to be honest, because I heard of the similar thing before, but mostly on aliens and stuff. But Yapul just, like, he's a type of devil. Well, that's what they say he is. In fact, he actually kind of is a type of devil. He even copies and impersonates people. He even became Vakashim one time, which I told a history about, I think. But anyway, yeah. So, at first, the two hosts, because Ultraman Ace is not like any other type of Ultraman to where they transform with one, they actually have to take two hosts, a guy and a girl, or a guy and a woman. One time he had to drive I think he was driving a tanker truck, the guy, and rammed it into Velokron's foot, and thought that was going to do something, but it couldn't. Now, Velokron was so strong that he kept taking down all the fighter jets that were battling him and stuff. So, this meant that anything that was trying to defeat him, they barely could do anything. And because Velokron was too powerful and he was destroying areas and stuff, they had no choice but to eventually turn into Ultraman. Eventually, Ultraman Ace appeared, and it's kind of strange because at first, Ultraman Ace has the upper hand and like beats him and stuff, but somehow there's a part where Velokron uses this weird rope looking ring thing, a halo that goes around Ultraman Ace and ties him, and he shoots out these missile laser looking things that paralyze Ultraman. And Velokron is doing quite good in the fight, unfortunately, but thankfully Ultraman Ace has the upper hand and defeats him again. And in a very weird way that he dies, Ultraman Ace shoots Velokron in the head, which is his weakness because of the missiles and stuff. He shoots missiles out of his mouth too. He's like this, like he literally spins and then just falls down. And Ultraman Ace lifts him up in the air and throws him and falls back to the ground, and he just dies. And he's like getting up and just. It's kind of interesting how they give it a characteristic, as if you would kind of feel a little bit sorry for it, but in the end the thing dies, and yeah, he's dead in the first episode. However, that was not only his first appearance. He appeared in another episode in Ultraman Ace, except it's a different type of Velokron, and I actually have a model of it, but it's a custom one that I did. This particular Velokron, however, was at first appearing in Ultraman Ace's dreams. However, it's called Velokron 2. It looks similar to the normal one, except it has a tail, and it looks more taller looking, and it looks a little bit more cheaper, actually. But it's not ugly or terrible. They actually, I think, did pretty good on it. Now, because they were like, wait, Velokron is back again? In fact, the episode is even called Velokron's Revenge, or The Revenge of Velokron. It is very strange how they battle, though. In fact, there's a part where there's like many different screens, and Ultraman Ace does like a sumo wrestling thing. And there's a part where they were throwing this ball thing at each other, and when it hit the head of Velokron was spewing, the second version of Velokron was spewing this acidic, it's not acidic, it's like this weakness type of bubbly potion called Velocro liquid, which pretty much weakened Ultraman Ace. However, after that weakling problem, Ultraman Ace got the upper hand and eventually beat him up again, and in a very, graphic way, although I don't consider it too graphic, that he rips the two horns off of Velokron's head and just stabs him in the chest there. Yeah, right in those two dots. And he basically dies like that. and he takes him to space again, or takes him in the sky, which I don't know why. He's just lifting him like a woo. But anyway, yeah. Now, you would also think also that that was his last appearance. He surprisingly appeared in Ultraman Taro as well. He appeared like it was the same suit as the second version, except they decided to call it Velokron 3. But it was the exact same version that the second Velokron was. So it's like they used the same second version of Velokron and called it Velokron 3, or remodeled Velokron, who was actually controlled by Yapul in Ultraman Taro. Yes, Yapul somehow makes a comeback in the Ultra series. Although he looks a little bit different though. He looks more cartoony-like. Along with other monsters that were actually in the series before, like Sabo Tendar, which is a cactus choju. Yeah, Sabo Tendar is a choju that was a cactus, although it was a very strange creature. And also appeared with Bemstar. However, this Bemstar was actually Bemstar 2 and Sabo Tendar 2, yeah. So there's like in total there were three revived monsters, Sabo Tendar 2 and Bemstar 2. Bemstar is that bird-looking monster that had that pentagon star. He's actually, I think, very similar to this one here. In fact, they both flew as well, like they can fly. In fact, I was actually told that they used the Astromon suit and made the second Bemstar. And there actually is proof. If you look at the design, they look very similar. But anyway, yeah. So, at first, Yapul sends Velokron and Sabo Tendar to make the fight with Bemstar more stronger because they're trying to defeat Ultraman Taro, and they are at an oil refinery like this. But because they were not the type of terrible monsters to where they were like very weak and stuff, they were actually the weakest monsters I ever seen, so it wasn't a very great battle. All I just saw was that Velokron got lasered to I think it was at the head or something, and he just fell down and died. He got lasered by one of the TAC member ships, which had like this laser gun thing attached to the jet that shoots out monsters. It's like a laser, like beep, and he died. And you can imagine what happened next. The other monsters died too, and Bemstar exploded into pieces, and it was a good day so far. So, yeah, so he appeared in Ultraman Ace, he appeared in another episode of Ultraman Ace, and then he had a cameo appearance. It wasn't a cameo appearance, it was like a co-starring appearance in Ultraman Taro. He appeared in the Counter Monster Army Attack, whatever that was. He did, however, make a strange appearance in a show that I think was like Korean or something. I think it's called War of the God Monsters. It's a very strange show. I think it's about like giant monsters and stuff, along with another monster that I plan on getting, which is Seagorus. He actually has an appearance there as well, although he seems to be some sort of a nightmare creature of a little girl who has a fever and dreams about it, because there's a part where this little girl is dreaming of Velokron destroying, and it's actually the same one that was used in the original Ultraman Ace. They just for some reason decided to steal the footage and stuff. And he also he basically was destroying stuff. It was pretty much the same clips as the Ultraman Ace, but without Ultraman. Although it is kind of funny that because he was a dream monster, he never actually appeared in the show. He just appeared in somebody else's dream. It was more like a cameo appearance. He also did have a cameo appearance in the Tyrant episode, but his roar for some reason was a Maruchi's roar. Yeah, Maruchi is that screaming fish thing that just... Yeah, it was that creature that Doragori tore it apart. He's that fish creature from Ultraman Jack. Yeah, Velokron for whatever reason has that roar. So that's very weird. But he did because in the episode of Tyrant, they were trying to show all the monsters that any of the Ultras had fought and stuff. So obviously they were going to show Velokron when they showed Ultraman Ace fighting Tyrant and stuff. And yeah, those were the interesting appearances. He appeared in an episode in Ultraman Taro as well with Tyrant, but it was just it was basically a cameo in the Tyrant episode. And then he had another cameo appearance in that War of God monster movie, which was, I think, Korean, and I think it was in the 80s as well. In fact, other monsters also had cameo appearances there too, like Bemstar, Pestar, Seagoras, and Seamons. So, yeah. Now, that was like years ago. He has still made appearances, thankfully. In fact, it's very nice because these types of monsters don't get that much attention. His famous appearance, however, mostly was when he appeared in Ultra Galaxy Neo along with Gamora, Dorgori, and Eleking, who I don't have. Eleking looks like a cow, but he's not a cow, though. But yeah, he appears, like, they basically, in fact, I don't remember too much of the episode, but all I remember is that Gamora is fighting Velokron, and Dorgori fights with Gamora as well. At first, Gamora struggles to fight because of the two, but eventually Eleking and Gamora get the upper hand. They defeat the two of them. So, yeah, they're down, and this one is down. So, yeah, and Gamora wins, and so is Eleking. I don't have Eleking, unfortunately, but you get the idea. But anyway, and if there's anything else, oh yeah, I don't remember too much of the episode, but I saw an image to where Vakashim, Doragori, and Velokron had an appearance all together, like this. And along with Yapul, although I don't have Yapul. I don't remember the full episode about it, but I remember one time that the three of them were fighting the other Ultra Brothers. It was like a strange army battle type of show or special. But yeah, and then he had other appearances, and he also appeared in one of the movies of Ultraman. I don't remember which ones, but so far he has a appearance role which is not as bad, although you would wish him more attention because he's not a regular monster, he's a Choju. So, you know, it's a terrible monster. You want these types of monsters to have more appearance. I honestly wish this guy had an appearance too. But, oh well. Overall, Velokron is very good as not only a figure like this, but pretty much Velokron himself. I honestly thought getting these Chojus were very unique for my monster collection, because usually you'll have those typical dinosaur-looking ones, and you want to have a monster that's, like, different. You have, like, the regular dinosaur ones, and then you have the robotic, like the robots, like Mechagodzilla, and then you have these ones that are very interesting and stuff, that just shoot out missiles. They almost, like, it's like you took a bunch of, missile tanks and stuff, and you decided to put it inside of a dinosaur so that it could just destroy anything and stuff. Like, that's just crazy. But, I mean, what do you expect? It was from the 70s year. The year 1970s, like, the era, was known for all the interesting stuff. I mean, it was also famous for disco, obviously. So, yeah. But anyway, so that's it for the review. It's actually very long, but overall, he is a very nice figure, and I actually recommend this particular Velokron, although if you want to have a much bigger one, you could just get the Ultraman Mebius Bandai one. But for the ones who can't find the Bandai one, you'll have to get this one from AliExpress, and I recommend it. If you do, you want to make sure that when you do get this monster, that you should see other monsters along with Black King and Astromons. You don't have to get these two, but you should see, like, a section to where they have these and stuff. Even though this figure is a knockoff, it's not a very bad knockoff. And very similar to the Baraba figure and the Dorogoras and Black King, they are very obvious knockoffs. Like, you can actually tell that they are mostly a copy. However, with some figures, they decide to sort of change the mold slightly. Like for Astromons, he looks similar to the Spark Doll one, but he's missing the head articulation. So, yeah. So I'm going to give velokron a 9 out of 10. The only problem about him is some of the detail. He's missing some of it. The sizing, you can actually get over it. It can be half-assed. He scaled up okay with some figures. Most of them were actually good, but some of them were not as great. He went very well with Doragori and Vakashim. That was like the best one, and so is Gamora. But anyway, yeah, I hope you enjoy, and I'll see you guys later, and I hope you comment my videos and subscribe to them as well. And I'll see you soon. Peace! Rawr, I'm gonna attack you. You like my coral? Let's go deep diving. Rawr!